Hello everyone. Today I want to make a case for something that goes against the default response to almost every health concern in modern life. Stop dieting, not temporarily, not until you find the right diet. I mean, stop approaching your health through the framework of dietary restriction entirely, because that framework, applied repeatedly over months and years, is one of the primary reasons so many people feel worse now than they did before they started trying to feel better. Every diet, regardless of its specific rules, shares a common structural feature. It defines health as the absence or reduction of something: less fat, fewer calories, no carbohydrates, eliminated food groups. The implicit assumption is that the body is broken because of excess, too much of something that needs to be taken away. And the solution is subtraction. But for the majority of people experiencing chronic gut symptoms, persistent fatigue, hormonal dysregulation, mood instability, and metabolic resistance, the problem is not excess. It is deficit, not a caloric deficit. A deficit of diversity, of microbial richness, of gut barrier integrity, of specific nutritional inputs that the body's regulatory systems depend on to function correctly. According to research, each cycle of dietary restriction produces measurable reductions in gut microbiome diversity, one of the most fundamental predictors of overall health outcomes. In one study, participants who had completed multiple dieting cycles showed significantly lower species richness in their gut microbiome than those who had never dieted, even when controlling for current dietary quality. The dieting history was written in the gut, and what it wrote was a story of progressive depletion that each subsequent diet made slightly worse. According to research, the primary dietary inputs for gut barrier repair are glutamine, the preferred fuel of intestinal epithelial cells, zinc, vitamin A, and short-chain fatty acids produced by gut bacteria from fermentable fiber. None of these require restriction to obtain. All of them require addition. In one study, targeted nutritional support for gut barrier function over 4 weeks produced measurable improvements in permeability markers and parallel reductions in systemic inflammatory load, without any caloric restriction whatsoever. The system was not repaired by taking something away. It was repaired by giving it what it had been missing. The second thing to fix is your microbiome diversity, not your macronutrient ratio. Every diet conversation eventually arrives at the same question: what is the ideal ratio of protein to carbohydrates to fat? And while that question is not entirely irrelevant, it consistently distracts from the variable that has far more explanatory power for gut health outcomes: dietary diversity. According to research, the number of different whole plant foods consumed per week is a stronger predictor of microbiome health than any single macronutrient ratio or total fiber intake. People who eat 30 or more different plant foods weekly show significantly greater microbial diversity than those eating 10 or fewer, regardless of whether their diet is nominally high-fat, high-carb, vegetarian, or omnivorous. The microbial ecosystem responds to variety, not to ratios. This reframes the question entirely. Instead of asking what to eliminate, the question becomes what to add. What plant foods have you not eaten this week? What fermented food could you introduce? What prebiotic source could you rotate in? Addition is the strategy. Restriction is a distraction from it. The third thing to fix is your relationship with meal timing, not your portion sizes. The body does not process food in a vacuum. It processes food within a hormonal and circadian context that changes throughout the day, and aligning eating patterns with that context produces metabolic and gut health outcomes that calorie counting consistently fails to deliver. Eating within a consistent daily window anchors the gut's own circadian rhythm, stabilizing the timing of digestive enzyme secretion, gut motility, and the feeding cycles of gut bacteria. Allowing adequate time between meals activates the migrating motor complex, the gut's self-cleaning mechanism that only runs in the absence of food. According to research, individuals who shifted their eating to a consistent earlier window without reducing total calorie intake showed significant improvements in body composition, fasting insulin levels, gut microbiome diversity, and self-reported energy over 12 weeks. Not less food, just different timing. The fourth thing to fix is your nervous system, not your discipline. This is the one that gets almost no attention in dietary frameworks, and it may be the most consequential of all. Digestion is a parasympathetic function. Your gut operates optimally when your nervous system is in a calm, regulated state. When you eat in a state of stress, distraction, or chronic low-grade anxiety, which is the default state for a significant proportion of people in modern life. According to research, mealtime autonomic state independently predicts gut symptom burden. meaning that how stressed or calm you are when you eat matters as much as what you eat, separate from all other variables. In one study, individuals who introduced a brief pre-meal breathing protocol, 2 minutes of slow, nasal breathing before eating, showed significantly reduced post-meal bloating, better digestive comfort scores, and lower post-meal cortisol levels over 4 weeks. Not a dietary change. A nervous system intervention that created the conditions for the gut to do its job. Here is what I want you to take from all of this. Stop dieting. Start building. The body you are trying to reach is not on the other side of another elimination protocol. It is on the other side of giving your gut what it has been asking for all along. I hope this gave you a genuinely different direction to move in. Drop a comment and tell me what you've tried before and how it ended. I read everything and I genuinely want to understand your experience. If this resonated, hit the like button and share it with someone stuck in the dieting loop. And if you're new to NutriFlow, subscribe and hit the bell. This is exactly what we do here. See you in the next one.